Hey everyone, my name is Jameson Chin. I'm the #1 best-selling author for Unwavering Success with Jameson Chin, and you are watching Channa Channa Channa.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my podcast. We have a very special guest today joining all the way from Singapore. We got Jameson Chin joining the podcast. Hi Jameson.
Hey Channa, thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
I am really good. I mean, I'm truly blessed and I'm grateful.
Right. So Jameson, how is the situation in Singapore these days?
Are you referring to like the COVID situation?
Yeah.
Well, COVID here, okay, the good thing is that the government is really hands-on with the COVID situation. So they've put in place a lot of strict measures, mask on at all times, unless you're eating or drinking, and they have curfews for drinking places as well. They don't allow you to operate and stuff like that. So pretty much the COVID situation here is it's not too bad. Infection rate is not really that high.
Right. So we were actually in the Philippines, we were actually also in a lockdown, but now from today they have sort of relaxed the rules a little bit. So I was able to go out. So
Oh wow. Finally, right? I mean, you haven't seen sunshine. Okay, quote and unquote sunshine.
right. Yeah. So how is this pandemics and lockdown? How did it personally affected you? I mean, of course, positively and negatively. How did it affected you personally?
Well, okay, personally, let's go with the negative first. On the negative side, of course, I mean, I don't get to spend as much time as I would like to outside. I mean, I love to go for movies, but you still can watch the movies right now. But the experience is different. I mean, when you go into an empty cinema, and all you have is just you and your partner sitting watching the movie, it's kind of like a different experience. I mean, I like the kind of experience where you go and watch a movie and then you hear people laughing together with you, that kind of feeling, that experience itself. So we don't have that kind of stuff. So you can watch a movie, but it's a different experience altogether. And I love to go outdoors. I love to just hang out sometimes outside. I love to walk in the shopping malls. Not that you can't do that. It's just that right now it's very sensitive. So people are telling you, hey, you got to stand 1 meter apart. You got to scan in and check out, that kind of stuff. So it's changed the way life has been in the past. But on the positive side, I guess we all get to work from home.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we get to work from home. We also get to put ourselves in check because honestly, when you are actually working from home, it's not so much about where you work, but really the discipline. If you're disciplined, you can work anywhere. You can work from home, you can work from your bed. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you're disciplined. So on the positive side, honestly, it has allowed me to see that actually the economy itself, there are a lot of companies that could benefit from working from home. I mean, you can save on rental. I mean, there are a lot of things you can save on.
Yeah. And especially like in the Philippines, where in Metro Manila, where the traffic is so horrible, the commuting, you don't have to commute anymore. So uh, I actually during the pandemic, I actually changed jobs during the pandemic. So
Wow.
for my new job, I actually went to the office only like twice just for the admin stuff, and I've been completely. I don't know anybody from the office really when I started, because it's just like everything was new, right? But
Oh man.
I got used to it actually, because I work in tech. So it was the case, like it was always like we were working from home, because even if you come home you would still work, right? So there was like that sort of culture. So it wasn't
Okay.
but I
Wasn't
also
that bad.
feel that there were some other positive benefits, or things from the pandemic, where you suddenly got some time to reflect on yourself, right? Like which you
Yes,
didn't have before, right?
definitely. I mean, actually, you get a lot of time now to spend with family. Some people hate it. They're like, oh no, I want to go back to office. My kids are bugging me every day, and my wife is nagging at me the whole day, that kind of stuff, right? But honestly, if you look on the brighter side, you really get to spend more time with your loved ones, and you get to reflect on yourself. That's really true. That's really true.
Right. So, Jameson, it's funny how we got connected. So, I saw you on the ESP show of Remy. Normally, Remy would have like death metal artists and all these black metal artists from Norway and all these, and then suddenly you were there, and then you were promoting your book and you were talking about positivity and all these things, that motivation and all that. So that's how we got connected, and I attended your virtual book launch that you had,
Oh,
and
thank you.
I started reading your book. It's so funny how people get connected in, like, it's not expected, right? Like, people like us will be get connected, especially in that forum.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, it really was kind of. Well, I'm a God believing person, so I would say it's God sent. I believe that everything that happens, there's a reason behind it. And I believe it's God sent that I got to know you, in fact. And it's funny, right? From one show to the other.
Yeah. Even I think I met Remy also, like, through the internet, because one of my friends went on his show, and then I that's how I got Remy, and then Remy came on my show few episodes back. We talked on this one, so like it's like what I like about the ESP is like this community that Remy started, that people are helping each other and continuously helping each other and growing as a community, right?
That's correct. Actually, you're really right, because I believe that positivity, when you're using positivity, when you're positive and you're using it the right way, it flows from one person to the other. So like you guys, I mean, you guys are helping each other out, but at the same time, I mean, you are inspiring other people at the same time.
Yeah. So Jameson, I saw this quote that you posted on your Facebook this morning. I think the quote is from Dalai Lama, right? Which talks about living in the moment.
Yes.
Would you what's the importance of today or this moment, and how would you actually live in the moment?
Well, the quote goes like this: there are only 2 days in the year that nothing can be done. So one is called yesterday, and the other is called tomorrow. So today is the right day to love, believe, do, and mostly live. And it's true, because you see, you can't change the past. Whatever has happened before, you can't go back in time. I mean, how I wish we could, right? I
Right.
go back and get probably all the lottery numbers. Just kidding, only kidding. But yeah, I mean, we unfortunately, be it good or bad, we can't really go back in time and change what we have done. Of course, we can always change the future, but you see, the future only gets changed by what you do today. Everything happens today, now, in the moment. And that's why they also said the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. So I
Right.
truly, truly believe that, being able to live in the moment, being able to carpe diem, seize the moment, seize the day, and make sure that all this time that you have on your hands are not being wasted. I believe that is something that's truly important. Whether it is to work, or whether it is to love, or to spend time with people that really matter, or to give back. Whatever it is, now is the important thing.
Right. So I want to sort of discover how did you got into this level. Can you tell me a little bit about your childhood and your, like, memories in school, maybe what did you study in school and that sort of thing?
Sure. So, I mean, I'm based in Singapore, and Singapore is, well, it's kind of like Philippines. It's four seasons of summer.
Right.
It's really hot. It only gets wet or wetter sometimes, but there's no snow. There's no autumn. You don't get to see a change in the seasons. But I love Singapore, and I mean, there's always a trade-off. Although we get 4 seasons of summer, geographically we are really safe. We don't get typhoons, we don't get hurricanes, we don't get earthquakes and stuff like that. So as a kid, I actually grew up as a really, really, believe it or not, a really quiet boy. You know, my mom would say, "You are so quiet in the past. You know, you would just sit there. I would go cook. An hour later, I would come back. You'd be sitting there doing the exact same thing you were doing previously, and you wouldn't have moved from where you're sitting."
Right.
So my mom started getting worried. She was worried something would happen to me, like this guy is not gonna do anything, you know, like he's weird, you know. So she sent me off to gymnastics. So it's kind of funny. So in the past, we used to live in a place called Jurong. So it's on the western part of Singapore. And at that home, we did not have any window grills. We stayed on a really high floor, like 10 over floors, 14th, if I'm not wrong, something like that. But there were no window grills. And we didn't have them because I was that good as a kid. I would not jump on the sofas. I would just sit there and just do my thing. Now, after she sent me to gymnastics, I started jumping on the sofas. And that was when all the window grills came up. Okay, it was really funny. Um, so those were my earliest memories, you know, my mom and my dad, you know, getting me to go to gymnastics. I learned a lot. I mean, I learned to have fun and run about. I really enjoyed those sessions. And even though I went there as a kid, like 4 or 5 years old, I still remember it. I mean, there are some things that you will remember, you know, for life. And I mean, that's why I always tell my friends when they have kids, you know, bring your kids around the world. I mean, of course, not when they're one, they can't see anything, but when they're 3 or 4 or 5, you know, they will remember it.
Right.
And yeah, as life went on, you know, I guess I started taking after my mother. So my dad is a computer person. He loves computer games. He's 60 over years old this year. He still plays computer games. Okay, he's really good at what he does. I cannot hold a candle to him. But my mom, on the other hand, she is more of the problem solving kind of person. So she loves jigsaw puzzles. She has the patience for that, you know. So I took after her on that portion. And I grew up fixing, I don't know if you remember stuff like that, but Gundam models.
Right.
Oh, those are my favorites. You know, I would buy them and I would stay on it for hours until I complete it. So that's those are my memories growing up as a kid.
Yeah, I know. I also have friends, a lot of friends who still does the Gundam models, and that can be a very expensive hobby, right?
Uh, well, I don't buy one every week. You know, I get them as a reward when I was a kid. You know, I would you know nudge my parents and beg my dad and mom, please buy for me this toy. You know, that kind of stuff. And sometimes they'll say no, sometimes they say yes, and I'll be really happy. And I would wait patiently because I didn't want to open it in the car and then drop something. So I wait for it to go home and then I'll open it and I read the instruction manual first. It's funny, you know, because even until today, in my whole household, every time something comes, I'm the person that goes up there and says, wait, let me read the instruction manual. Everyone else is like, oh, let's get to it, you know, and then they start assembling whatever it is, vacuum cleaner, television, you name it, you know. Everyone gets to the item first. I'm the one still reading the manual. Wait, I haven't finished the manual. So
Yeah,
funny.
we have a in software, like in IT stuff, there is a term called RTDM. So
Okay.
that is like what you use when you can't figure out something get to work. So RTDM is read the damn manual. So
Oh man, that's a good one. RTDM. I remember that.
yeah, that's what, because I know, a lot of people who are in tech, they don't read they don't follow the instructions, they just dives in, right?
Yes. And I see that happening very often, in fact. And not just me, you know, a lot of people out there, that's what they do. So maybe I'm just different.
Right.
Uh,
So Jameson, because this my podcast, mostly my guests are mostly like musicians and rock stars and stuff. But I would like to just ask you about your like music taste.
well, you know, the funny thing about music is that actually I do play music. It's just that I'm not very, well, I wouldn't say I'm really good with it. And I like to say I have a decent voice. I like to say I can play the guitar, a little bit of piano. Actually, in the past, I have written some songs before. It's that I've I haven't got to recording it, and that kind of stuff. It's just
Wow.
like a small hobby for me. But the kind of music I like, it's funny. I'm 35, and a lot of people say, "Hey, you're an oldie." I mean, I don't really like old kind of songs, but I'm still stuck in the boy band era, Westlife, NSYNC. I love them, and
Right.
particularly fond of Westlife.
Right.
So those are the
Uh,
kind of songs.
yeah. Who's this singer from Westlife? Shane. I
Yeah,
can't
Shane.
remember. Shane.
I don't remember his
Yeah.
last name as well.
Yeah. Shane Flan of Lynn. I think I actually met him here in Manila when he was here.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I have a picture with him. Actually, I didn't stay for the show, but I just took a picture with him.
Steal a picture first, right? Just tell you, I'll be at your show.
Because the show was like so many. It was too many girls there. Like it was like a
I know,
mall
right?
show, like a small mall show. There was like I couldn't take it because there were so many people.
I know, I know. That's crazy. Yeah, hey, that's the funny thing because the thing about boy bands is that all the girls are going gaga over them, right?
Right.
But I was more of I wasn't really into the singer, but I was really more into the songs. I'm a lyric person, so I really read the lyrics, and I mean, I believe that songs are a way to adjust your emotions. When
Right.
you're listening, I mean, it's simple. If you're driving a car and you're listening to an old melody, Unchained Melody, let's just say, whoa, my love, and then you'll be driving slowly and just listening to it like, whoa, yeah, it's a cool song. I change it up with an R&B song or a rap song, you know, Eminem, you'll be like, yeah, man, oh, going down the gears. So songs can really adjust your emotional state. I truly believe that, and not just the rhythm, or the beat, but the lyrics as well. So I'm
Right.
I'm really in for the lyrics.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you also. I think one of the the. I think the best boyfriend band for me is like Backstreet Boys.
Oh man, I love them. I love them as well. I love them all, man.
Yeah. I still have their albums.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I remember buying CDs, that only goes to, I mean, if I didn't say my age just now everyone knows my age, right?
Right.
CD. Yeah, so yeah, I remember buying CDs, and then they would have the lyrics at the front portion of the packet, and they take it out and I'll read them, yeah, and sing along to them, right? And I mean, not that I'm not in sync with the singers nowadays. It's just that it's those kind of music. I mean, so Ed Sheeran is really good kind of music as well. It's just that his tempo is really fast,
Mm.
and it's well, I'd say this. It's when you sing along to it, you can, but if I ask you to play it and sing it by yourself, it's not as easy as it seems.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jameson, how would you introduce yourself? Like, if somebody asks you what you do, how would you introduce yourself?
So I would say my name is Jameson Chin, and I'm the number one best-selling author of the book Unwavering Success with Jameson Chin. No, only kidding, only kidding. So yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. So I basically help people when it comes to, so yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I run my own business, but in my spare time, I love to actually inspire others. I mean, I truly believe that the world needs more of this, motivation. I believe the world truly needs more inspiration. There's no better time, in fact, right now, especially with the pandemic that's going on. And recently, I guess we've all seen the news about, Afghanistan. So I think that the world is in a dark place. And I truly believe that, people out there, they need something to look forward to. So yeah.
Right. Uh, before the pandemic, because Singapore is really a special place for me. I used to go to Singapore like every month before the pandemic,
Wow.
almost every month. From I think from 2016 until 2000 early 2020, I think I went there like
Oh,
almost every month. So
I
it's like
see.
it's like my second home. I couldn't say second home because I was born in Sri Lanka, so now living in Philippines. So maybe Singapore is like my third home. So for example, because I used to go a lot and I have a lot of friends and I really like traveling there, and I used to bring my bike there and I would bike around Singapore. That's what I used to do. I
Oh,
travel with my
I
bike,
see.
and I think I was a lot of my Singaporean friends were surprised that I was taking photos of these landmarks that they don't even know it exists in Singapore, like places.
I agree. It's funny because a lot of Singaporeans, it's actually, that's the funny thing. I think it's kind of like that in a lot of places. You grow up in a place and you tend to overlook things and sometimes take it for granted. It's in Singapore. I can visit, I can see it anytime. Sometimes you probably haven't even heard of it, but as a tourist, as an explorer, as an adventurer, you want to see it. You want to see everything you can see. You want to take pictures of them with you in it, or maybe without you in it. But you want to see them and capture them. So I mean, I guess that's why you know more landmarks than probably I do.
Yeah, I think because a day to day of Singaporean would be like they would drive or they would take their MRT. Like they wouldn't like you wouldn't go to these places like walk, right? Like walk or bike. So that doesn't really happen. So that's probably it. Uh, so I know that one thing that really attracted me is like when Remy introduced you, I check out your like LinkedIn. I think it was your LinkedIn, and I saw like you were posting this stuff about traveling, and you some photos of traveling. And can you tell me about like what's your like how do you like travel? Where do you like to travel, and what sort of things you like to do?
Well, I would say this, there are some people who hate traveling. I have met people, when I ask them, do you love to travel? They're like, no. So I was like, okay, sure, you're lost. Yeah,
Right.
but I love traveling, and I'm really more of I don't know how I should put it, but I like to be, I like to experience things, I'm more of an explorer than a tourist.
Right.
So I like to go there. I like to dive into the history. I like to, I love guided tours actually, because um, guided tours in the sense that people, they give me a narration of what went on in that place. So I love those kind of audio tours. I love them. I love to find out about the history. So I was in Prague, and we took a tour. They brought us to the old Charles Bridge, and we queued up to touch a statue, that kind of stuff. So basically in Prague, there's a bridge called Old Charles Bridge, and there's a statue right in the middle. And it says that if you touch the statue and you say a wish, they make your wish come true. So same like the Trevi Fountain in Rome. You toss a
Mm.
coin, and then they say if you toss a coin once, it means to say, I can't remember. If you toss a coin once, something happens. If you toss it twice, it means toss it once, you'll be back again. Toss it twice, your wish will come to something like that. It's really funny back then when I did it. But yeah, I mean, I love, going into the cultures, finding about the stories, and I, I mean, it's beautiful, knowing the history of that place. So if you ask me, where's my favorite spot that I've been to quite a fair bit of places. I would say Prague is one of the most beautiful places. Prague, it's got rich culture, it's got beautiful scenery, and the food is amazing.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think for me, I think I have a couple of experiences, but I think the best place I've been is I went to Dublin, Ireland, and I think
Dublin, okay.
yeah, because it's like a culture, music, and it's like a city of performers. Really, like you see a lot of street artists, a lot of museums, and like music shops, and like it's all music recording studios, and all in like this architecture of that city is like I think it's like Prague because they what I really love about these places is they preserve the architecture as is, right? Like the buildings, and you don't have like skyscrapers in between. There's like they save that the it's really amazing. And I did that same thing because I went there, and what I used to do in the morning is like I would bike around the city, and it's really amazing place. And I know what you mean. But you bring good point, which is food. I think one thing that I really get connected with the place is really enjoying the food.
Yes, yes, I know, right? You know, the funny thing is that when you're in your local place, your own hometown, and your friend says, "Hey, you want to try this?" I think majority of us are like kind of out of my comfort zone, so maybe not. But when I go traveling, I'll be like, "Yeah, I'll try this, I'll try that. I don't know what on earth that is, but I'll try it too." You know,
Right.
try everything. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and one reason I love Singapore is actually in a way the food, because I get to enjoy the taste of food that I'm used to, like because you would have Malaysian food, Indian food, and Singaporean food, and all this, and then even a Sri Lankan restaurant was there, and I think there's one in one of those food hawker centers. So
Mhm.
I'm really enjoying, because I cannot get that same taste in the Philippine food what I used to get in Sri Lanka, where it's like spicy and a lot of spices. And I think I that's what I love about Singapore is I can get like this amazing tasty food.
No, I agree. I mean, Singapore is a really unique place. I mean, we've got all kinds of food. Um, it's crazy sometimes. So I digress a bit. I used to run a limousine business. So I have friends coming from not just friends but clients, you know, coming from all over different parts of the world. And I had clients from China, and they're like, "Wow, there's so many different kinds of food." I have friends from the US, and they said the same thing. You know, they're like, "Wow, so what should I avoid?" You know, like I'm like, you can try everything. I mean, if you want to have Chinese food, that's Chinese food. You know, if you want to have Malay food, you have Malay food. And they're like, sure, satay. They tried, you know, the what's that called? The Hokkien mee and the char kway teow and the roti pratas. So yeah, but we have. I think it's a great blessing, you know, to have this kind of variety of foods.
Yeah, I made this meme actually, because uh I was interviewed by Changi Airport. I think it was in 2019 for the Independence Day. So I was in the airport during the Independence Day. So they interviewed me for a video. They this post put out. So they were asking me what I like about the Singapore, and then I said I like nasi lemak, and then it's with the subtitles, and then I got a screen capture of that, like, happy birthday Singapore, and I love nasi lemak.
Oh, but you're right. Nasi lemak is pretty good in Singapore. I mean, if you have tried other places, you know, who have nasi lemak, Singapore does a pretty good version of it.
Right, right. Yeah, I always there's this flight that I used to take, that I would land, I think, around like close to midnight in Terminal 2.
Oh,
As soon as I get out of the Terminal 2, I wouldn't go for a taxi. I would go to the nasi lemak place in the airport. I would have the nasi lemak
yes,
first.
yes. I believe that one is a Crave nasi lemak, if I'm not wrong. If you came last year or something, or 2 years ago, Crave nasi lemak. Yeah, that's the one they have at Terminal 2.
Right.
When I was doing my limousine business, that's exactly where I'll go as well if I wanted nasi lemak.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. So Jameson, I have some few questions I want to ask you. So, first question is, uh, what's your definition of happiness?
Well, I think that true happiness, you know, it's how should I put it? Happiness is not something that you can define. You know, you can't really define happiness because you can't say, well, I'll be happy if this happens. Well, you see, that's not a definition, really. You see, so I believe that being able to wake up every day, spend time with your loved ones, breathe in the air, and count your blessings is a good indication to being happy. But some people would take it further because they'd say, yeah, but well, I don't have that paycheck which I want. I don't have that lifestyle which I want. And I guess, happiness varies a lot for different people. I mean, what makes me happy might not make you happy. And what makes you happy might not cut it for me as well. So for me, myself, I truly believe that every day when I wake up, the first thing that I'm thankful for is being able to open my eyes and wake up and breathe. I mean, I'm sure we have all had instances where we lost people that meant a lot to us. And somewhere about 4 years ago, I lost my grandmother. I mean, we woke up one day and she stopped breathing. And I guess, when you look back, when things happen and you realize that, hey, it's a true blessing to be able to be alive, in fact, you think twice about what really makes you happy as well.
Right. Yeah, I've been thinking about this I mean, for a long time. And I came across a book from, I don't know if you know the author Mark Manson. He wrote this book called A Subtle Art of Not Giving F book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know which book.
Yeah, yeah. So I read that book, and there was something that he said is which really resonated with me is uh, solving problems brings happiness. That's what it
I
said.
agree.
So I was really thinking about it, and then I could realize situations that I was actually doing that. I was always doing something, try to find a solution, try to fix something, and I would feel very proud of it, and I would feel, I mean, I feel that the happiness, I think I really recognize with that statement that finding solutions for problems. As you said, the problems maybe vary with different people's, the problems they have or the way they're looking at problems will be different. Even the solutions they apply will be different. But finding that solution and doing it, I think that's what brings happiness. That's what I'm thinking.
I see. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's true as well. Being able to love yourself, self-love is also happiness. A lot of people don't know how to love themselves.
Right. So Jameson, so how did you become an author, and what inspired you to actually write a book?
So it's funny. So what happened is that so if, I believe you have read my book, and what happened to me was I was in a really, really bad situation, basically in a relationship which I did not want to be in. Not because I don't love the person, but because the circumstances that I was in, the person started becoming suicidal, and I realized that I started spiraling down as well, to the extent that I became suicidal too. And that was a scary place to be in because, I mean, when I look back now, I'm so thankful. But when I was there in that position, all I wanted to do was to end it all. I mean, there was this, it felt like there was a knife in my heart, and it wasn't killing me. It was just pain. And I felt helpless. I felt alone. So, I mean, I thank God, that he for everything he provides. And definitely I thank all my friends and my family for being there for me, encouraging me all the way. I mean, I pushed a lot of them away. I just told them that I'm fine. You don't have to bother about me. I'm okay, that kind of stuff. But I know deep down I wasn't okay. So what happened was that finally being able to get out of that situation, I realized that, hey, I mean, I know that there are people out there feeling the same way. And I'm thankful because I have had some personal development, in the past. So that's why I did not end my life as well. But what if I did not have all those personal development? What if Someone else was in the very same position and they weren't as strong. Would they have jumped? Would they have called it quits? Would they have thrown in the towel? So I came from that point of view and I realized that, you know what? I don't want, I want people out there to know that they're not alone, that they can get through this as well. Because you see, my mentor, Matt Morris, so he co-authored the book with me as well. So Matt Morris, he shared something. He said that whatever it is that's holding you back is the exact reason that you should be successful. So it means to say, if exact reason that you should do it as well. So it means to say, if you think that, you being in this position, someone that almost wanted to end his life, was depressional, was in deep depression and that kind of stuff, that was what was holding me back from wanting to inspire people. And based on what he said, that should be the reason that you go out and do it, because people can relate to your story. So I realized that I was in a position and I've been there and I've got through it. And I know that if I can go out there and tell people that, hey, I know how you feel, because that's exactly how I felt as well. And I mean, I almost wanted to end it too. People can relate. But you see, here's the thing, I didn't. I pulled through. And this is how I did it. So I wanted to be there to tell others that, hey, you know what? You can do it too. You deserve happiness as well.
Right. One of the things that I got from your book, there was a mention about uh, people creating a personal prison for themselves. So I mean, this is this can be negativity, this can be self doubt, or self hate, or so. Um, how can people overcome this sort of personal, not because I think during this, especially like in the pandemic, we are literally putting ourselves in prison, but I mean, in a sense, we are just restricting ourselves. But this is beyond that, where we, like, in our head, we are just like trying to limit ourselves, right? So what do you think about that, and how can you get out of that prison?
Yes. You see, the thing about this is that we all have our own self-limiting beliefs. Some people believe that, oh, well, I'm only capable to do this. I can't do anything else other than that. Anything above that is something that I can't do. But I don't believe that. Of course, I'm not saying, just jump off a building and survive. I don't mean that. But yeah, I mean, I'm talking about self-belief, So we all have a prison, like you said, a personal prison. And that's why my chapter is titled The Keys to Unlocking Your Prison. And being able to look past that, you see, if you ask me what are the key things I would say is important to actually get out of that prison, firstly, I would say the people that you associate with, that's one of the things, the people you associate with, because unfortunately, misery loves company. People love to get together with, the sad person would love to get together with another sad person and drown in their sorrows, right? So misery loves company. So I'm not saying, tell your friends that, hey, you suck and get out of my way. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that, the people that you mix around with, do you check through? Do you even see, what they are emitting out? We all have positivity and negativity. So I personally believe that you want to surround yourself very closely with people who are positive. That's one of the key things. And the next thing is what you feed your mind. Like you read a lot, which is great, and you read about positive things, and you constantly expand your knowledge. Those are great things. Those are actually on the right track. And I personally believe that what you feed your mind is so important. And it goes from anything from not just what you read, but what you see. You see, social media has changed the way everything works now. In the past, it was newspapers, television, radio, and books. That was it. There was no social media. Oh, of course, there was the internet, but it would take forever to use a dial-up modem, right?
Right.
But now, social media, everything is on social media. Everything is at literally the tip of your fingers. You open your mobile phone and you are filling yourself with information. So what do you constantly fill yourself with? Is it positivity or negativity? So all this play a part.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, social media. I mean, my journey with social media is like I felt that negativity and I felt that it was affecting me. So I thought maybe I should just abandon that and just, I will not use social media anymore. But then I thought maybe there is a different way. Understand the purpose why you're using social media and then just do it for that purpose and ignore the other stuff. So a lot of time when I'm like using Facebook, for example, a lot of times I would just like clean up. I would just unfollow stuff that I think I shouldn't be seeing, because this actually feeds to the algorithm and they would start giving me the stuff that I see, right? That's basically how it works. So
That's correct.
yeah, so I was actually in a clubhouse room earlier with a bunch of Sri Lankans with you were talking about this kind of thing, and I noticed this like in YouTube, for example. I noticed this that the videos that I see, I first thought that I would just see the videos that sort of agree with my sort of worldview, right? That's how it happens. So when you watch a couple of videos, the algorithm defines you. Okay, this is a right leaning person, left leaning person, center person, and then it will just keeps on feeding you the videos. But one thing that I noticed is even the comments on the video was I wasn't seeing the other side. I wasn't seeing something that I would disagree in most of the videos. So I think it's like it's actually into that level that it's just feeding you what you want to see.
I agree. Social media now is has evolved on a totally different level. And you're right, when you I mean that's exactly how the algorithm works. So they'll just keep feeding you what you want to see. But the funny thing is sometimes we get sidetracked. So when we're watching this and the next one, oh yeah, this looks interesting. Yeah, something that I will watch. And before you know it, you're watching about two cows and two kittens and two dogs at the same time. And then you're wondering, wait a minute, I was watching something else. How did I get there?
Right, right, right.
Uh, crazy.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to talk you from the book is like, uh, I think this is also really important nowadays, that because people have two lives. They have their own, sort of personal, professional life, but they also have a sort of a public life that mostly that's in social media and internet, right? That's how sort of we have sort of a copy of ourselves in the internet. So I think the one thing that really important in this is how to stay authentic or genuine. So what's your sort of steps on doing that? How to become quite like authentic?
Well, I personally believe that, of course, everything is a journey. Life itself is a journey, and we're always on. I mean, that's me. I'm on a journey to self-improvement every day. I just want to be a little bit better than the person I was yesterday. That's what I look forward to being every day. Now, sometimes I fall short, sometimes I succeed. And yeah, but that's my goal, to be better than the person I was yesterday. And with that in mind, you know, being able to be authentic to others is equally important as well. And I say that because on social media, um, the funny thing is you see two kinds of people. The first kind are those who, how should I put it? They're not really doing fantastic, but they try and make it seem like they are, you
Right.
know? So they're the kind that try and make life seem better on social media. And honestly, I feel that, well, there's nothing entirely wrong with that, because you're not, unless you're posting tons of money, and trying to tell people that, hey man, I live thug life, that kind of thing, then I would say that's a bit over, but being true, and being positive is okay. But then there's the other kind, the kind that are really authentic to the extent that all they post are negative stuff. My life sucks. And then they start sharing other quotes, about, that you're gonna, I don't know, man. I don't even want to say it, but I've seen some and I just scroll past them quickly. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not going to say this, But I mean, you get where I'm coming from. So these people are really authentic, because that's how they're feeling inside. So I personally believe that you want to be authentic, because that's what the world doesn't have. Everyone puts on a mask and, people don't see that authenticity anymore. All they see is that mask.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why I've been posting, like, all my CDs and stuff, because that's basically what I do in real life as well. So.
I mean, I guess, social media is a great place, but I would say, is it the place where you want to air dirty linen? I mean, I've seen couples fighting on social media. A husband saying really bad stuff about his wife on his Facebook page. And I feel that, I mean, that's a bit too authentic for me. But I mean, would you go out and tell your neighbors that, hey, my wife just did blah, 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 and she's such a da, 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 I don't think you'd do that. So why would you post that on social media?
Right.
So I would say a good gauge is to look at what you tell your neighbors. If you tell your neighbors that, I guess it's safe to post on social media. Of course, don't post on social media and say, hey, I think I dropped my laundry. Could you help me pick it up, please? That'd be really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. I've seen, like, in my own experience, I've seen, like, a couple of bands, like, for example, they would just broke up in through social media, and then they will keep on,
Oh my gosh.
attacking each other, and then they would try to bring in the fans to the conversation, because then there will be sides, and it's like,
that's correct.
yeah, so.
And then there's a lot of drama, and then all you're doing is that you're taking the popcorn and the soda, and then you're just scrolling through the comments and eating popcorn. Oh wow, this gets interesting. What's going on now? It's like watching Netflix. Only thing is in text and pictures.
Yeah. And then there would be people. Actually, there are a lot of people who would say, like, I'm here for the comments. Like, I'm just here for
Yes.
the comments, right?
And then you see Michael Jackson eating popcorn, right?
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
The Michael Jackson from the Thriller video, right? Yeah.
Yes, correct. Eating the popcorn. I'm just here for the comments. Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. uh, so, Jameson, for your journey so far, and all, I mean, it's not an easy task to actually write a book, and especially one that your idea is to inspire others. So, what's the role of faith in this journey?
Do you say faith or faith?
Faith.
Faith. What's the role of faith in this journey? Well, I would say this. You see, I've been really, really blessed, because I mean, I'm a faith believing person. I believe in God, and definitely there was so many times that I would have wanted to give up actually. But the thing is, that's the thing about faith. You see, you can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it. Right. But having faith was actually one of the key things, one of the key moving factors that stopped me from doing it, because I believed that there would be a better day. I believed that I would get through it. So faith is belief, and here's the thing about the mind. Whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. I mean, if you believe that you're not going to succeed, trust me, you're bound to fail. So faith plays a huge role in my life, and yes. So like I mentioned, I believed that God would get me through this. And I never gave up on that belief after that. I just held on to it. And I mean, it was a huge thunderstorm, but then there was the calm after that.
Right. Yeah. So, Jameson, what happened to me is like, as I said, I was traveling a lot especially for concerts, and before the pandemic, and then when the pandemic happened, I couldn't go anymore to. Basically, I couldn't travel anymore, and then all the shows got canceled. I couldn't meet my friends anymore, and that actually I was kind of in a early stage of the pandemic. I believe like maybe the first 2-3 weeks I was kind of in a maybe a depressed mode because it was sort of upside down. But then I thought maybe I should speak to my friends, who are like my usual friends who we go to concerts together, and maybe I should just start talking to them about our experiences before, like try to bring that up and then sort of live off that, whatever energy that comes out of it. That's how this podcast actually started. So I started with that, and then I started talking to some of the artists, especially like local artists and some artists from Singapore, and then it eventually a lot more bands came in, and then I and then it went in a different purpose where that you know now I do it because I would really love to help artists to promote their stuff, and I because I get a learning from out of it as well. And so that's how the podcasting started. And one thing that I was really happy is when I figure out all the process of doing the podcast and putting it in Spotify, Apple, and then finally I could see it, and then the audience start growing and all this. So it was a big achievement personally for me, having something out there. I believe this is probably the same for you. Like when you see your book in Amazon, it's on sale for Amazon, right? So can you tell me the sort of the steps, or that how did you got your book on Amazon, and the publishing process and writing? And I know that your book has a lot of people also like working with you on the book. So a little bit about that.
So basically, I went through Success Publishing, so they were my publisher. And I mean, I know Matt Morris, and I got introduced to Steve Morland, who was the director of business development for this, and Bryson Kaufman as well. So um, I spoke to them. I spoke more to Steve. I spent a lot of time speaking with him, and he felt that my story was good and that people could relate to it. So then we pieced together a few other authors together with Matt and Steve, and that was how we got our book together. So that was the deal, and that's how it went. And and then from there, I mean, honestly, the process was not a fast one for sure. I mean,
Right.
the story has been in the pipeline for a long time. I took a couple of months to really write it out, but it has always been at the back of my mind. I mean, it's something that I've been working on for many years, in fact. So, I mean, I've never known that I would write a book, but I know that all this story itself, I know that it would help people out there if they get a chance to read it. I have never thought of the medium, whether it be a podcast or whether it be a book, or a movie. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I never thought about that. It's just
Right.
that, like Steve Jobs said, you can only connect the dots looking backwards. And now looking backwards, I realized that, wow, everything happens for a reason. The reason why I had to go through that was so that I have a story for my book. And so I took a couple of months to really write out the story, get it through the editors, and come up with my cover and everything, and then finally piece it together before it got launched on Amazon. And I saw you at the launch as well. I mean, I'm so happy and I'm honored as well.
Yeah. And I saw your video, like when you got your first copies, right? The author copy.
Uh, I was so excited. I said it felt like being a father. Still feels that way sometimes, surreal. Yeah.
Right. So Jameson, putting out the book, how is the response to the book?
It was overwhelming. I mean, it's crazy. I hit #1 bestseller, I think in the next 1 or 2 days. And response has been crazy. I've got people writing in and telling me that, I really loved it. And thank you for sharing your story and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the thing about Amazon is that you need to spend, I don't know, I think it's above $50 within the last certain period of time before you can leave a review. So a lot of my friends couldn't leave a review of my book.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, the response has been really good. I didn't really write it for profit. I mean, I was more of wanting to, just really go out there and inspire people.
Right. Yeah, I also try to write the review and I got the same thing because you have
Yeah, damn.
because I haven't bought something in Amazon, uh, especially after Lazada came to this region. I haven't really gone to Amazon anymore because you can find anything in Lazada, really, right? So,
I know, right? Lazada, Shopee, crap. But I mean, a lot of them are telling me, "Oh, I can't write a review because I haven't spent or something like that. I haven't spent X amount in don't know how many months, so I can't leave a review." I'm like, "Oh man, that's a bad way. That's a bad thing to happen, man."
right.
Uh,
So you have your book out. So what's next for you? What you thinking to doing next, or what's coming up?
so I shared this story the other day, and I shared it with Jessica Soto from Success Publishing, and it's titled "The Dash." So I heard about this story from Matt Morris. So I'm sure you heard it from someone else as well. But the key thing is the moral of the story. So the dash. So what is the dash? Someday you see, there are two things that are inevitable in life. Death and taxes, right?
Right.
So I'm going to skip the taxes part. But someday, unfortunately, we all have to die. We can't avoid that. And on your tombstone are going to be two dates: the date that you were born and the date that you pass. And in between these two dates is a dash. So what really matters is that dash, because when I mean, if you imagine it someday when you are in that coffin and you can look at what's going on as a third party, what will the people be saying? Will it be saying, "Oh man, this guy is a good for nothing. All he did was eat, sleep, and try and avoid work, that kind of stuff." Or do you want them? Would you want to hear them saying, "You know what, Jameson has inspired me so much, that I decided to take a change for the better." So what do you want to leave behind? And I realized that, my dash, I want to leave a legacy behind. I want to be able to inspire people to make a change and to be able to move forward towards the light. And so that's what I want to do. That's my goal, to have a really significant dash. And moving forward, I'm still focused on my business, of course, but I'm trying all different ways. I mean, how I can get my word out, how I can get my story out to more people. Like I mentioned, I just want to inspire others and let them know that they can do it too.
Right. So, Jameson, what's your message to first people who support you? Uh, read your book and all this, and then people who will watch this video.
Sure. So to those who have supported me, I'm truly, truly grateful. I mean, everything that you have done, I mean, I might or might not know you, but honestly, I'm touched, and I'm really blessed. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. It truly means a lot to me. And, I hope that through reading this, you can also pass on, the message as well. If you think that the book has helped you or inspired you, I hope that you can encourage someone else to read it. I mean, if they want to buy it from me, you can send them to my link, or if you want to gift them the book, either way is fine. The key thing is, I hope that, you can also pass it on. If you think that it's inspired you in a good way, I do really hope that you can also help to inspire someone else. And to those who will be watching this, I mean, my website and my link is there. You can find me on Amazon or on Facebook, etc. If you want to reach out to me, I am reachable as well on all social media platforms. So I truly hope that this podcast, this conversation that I've been having with Channa, has been a fun and inspiring one as well. But my key message to everyone out there is, you are possible, that you can do it. If you're struggling, I truly believe that you can do it.
Right. Yeah. So Jameson, this I really enjoy this conversation. As you said, it was a very inspiring discussion what we had. I would love to do a longer discussion with you one on one. Maybe not on the podcast, but as friends. It's really
Sure.
inspiring, and maybe
Thank you.
in the future, if I can go to Singapore, we can discuss some of these things over a cup of coffee, right?
Sure. Hit me up, man, when you're back here. I mean, I probably won't cycle, but I'll be at wherever you stop for coffee. You're going to stop here, I'll be there, man. I'll be there first.
Right. So, all the best with your future, all the things that you're planning to do. So, lastly, tell everyone how they can reach you, your website, your links.
Okay, you can actually reach out to me through my link tree. So it's linktr.ee// Jameson Chin. So it's linktree/Jameson Chin. Yeah. So it has everything there. At the very bottom is my social media links, my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube channel, my Amazon link. Or you can search my name, Jameson Chin. I'm pretty sure that I'm the first one that pops out.
Right. So, Jameson, have a great evening, and thanks for joining the podcast.
Thank you so much, Channa. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much. Stay
Thank
blessed,
you.
my friend. Stay blessed.